I got some great questions from the community here I really loved that I'll ask you here. One was from Michaela, who was asking and sharing that she had always been an expert at kind of staying calm, but recently she's learned that that's kind of her denying her feelings to keep everyone else comfortable.
Yep.
Where's the line when dealing with people?
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. So my mom, I don't know if anyone in here is familiar with the Enneagram, but it kind of gives you these personality traits and types. And my mom is the peacekeeper. So we always say, you know, she's the person who you'll ask, like, where do you want to go to dinner to? And she'll say, like, I really don't care. Where do you want to go? And she genuinely doesn't, because she wants to keep the peace. And I've learned that a lot of times that people that are in those roles maybe grew up in more chaos or grew up in a situation where they were the one that set the tone of the energy. And so they've taken on that embodiment of, I'm going to set the tone for everyone else. And I need to show them that I'm calm so they can be calm. And it absolutely can suppress our feelings and our emotions. And I think we can embody something as much as we possibly can, but if we're not feeling it, it's not an actual reflection of who we are or where we are in that moment. And so, the other day I like cried for the first time in a long time. And I was like, I think I just needed to get this out. Like, there's a lot of hormones happening here. But I was like, have I been suppressing this, or did this just kind of escape me at the right moment? And I think what is really important is when you get quiet enough with yourself to check that check engine light of, how am I really feeling about this? How am I really navigating this? Not how are people expecting me to navigate it, but how do I really feel? You're able to trace those emotions. And a lot of times you can uncover past pain or past trauma or past positive experiences that are guiding the way that you're feeling, enough to either course correct or just acknowledge those feelings and allow yourself to feel them. So I think a lot of times we've got to kind of reverse engineer the fact that we're the person that we think we have to set the tone, and allow ourselves to just be a human being and to feel all those things. Just like with Coco, if she's feeling anxious or nervous, it's like, baby girl, feel those things. And then let's see if we've got to work past them, if there's something we've got to unpack here.
How do you deal with the guilt or potential shame of asking for support as a leader? Because sometimes that's really difficult if you're the high performer, or you have that positional authority and you're struggling. How do you ask for help?
So I look at asking for help as a gift for someone else. So one of my friends, Allie Stroker, she is in a wheelchair. She's a Broadway actress, one of the first Broadway actresses that's been like world renowned. She's incredible. And I remember she gave me the gift of this nugget, and she said, I don't need help with my wheelchair, but sometimes knowing that I can give someone the opportunity to feel helpful is a gift to them, even if it's taking something away from me for just a moment. And I thought about that a lot because she's so independent. Wow. She's fiercely just so vibrant and independent. And I thought about that, and she said, sometimes I just humble myself to let people help because they feel good about being the helper. And we've all heard that quote, like Mr. Rogers, where it's like, whenever there's a crisis, like, look around, there will always be helpers. Sometimes people need that significance. They need that ability to feel helpful. And so when I look at asking for help, I don't look at it as a weakness. I look at it as an opportunity to give someone else strength. And so it can really transform the way you feel about it. And asking for help is like flexing a muscle, right? Like the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. And so I just always think about what Allie said. And she's like, sometimes it's not about me. It's just to give them the gift of being a helper. And I think that when you grow a team that can really honor other people's gifts, it's not a bad thing to ask for help.
I love that. I would also say it's 100% your job as a leader. And what I mean by that is, if the leader's job is to help set and protect and curate the culture, you have to ask yourself, okay, let me get over my ego here. And would the team see me asking for help?
Yes.
Set a precedent that is behavior that we do on this. And I think that's really important for everyone to see. Is like the number one thing I taught through the pandemic to all our high performers was, we must adopt the role model mindset during this time.
Absolutely.
We want to do for our creature comforts or our safety or because our political affiliations or this, but it's like, okay, what's the precedent I want to set here? How would I like my family, my team, other people to see me behave in this difficult situation or this difficult time? Because they'll remember it.
Yep.
They'll remember how I responded. They'll remember how vulnerable or transparent I was. They'll remember the tone that I set.
Yeah.
I think it's so important. The reason you ask for help is you are setting the tone of permission.
Yep.
People can be vulnerable. Otherwise, if you're a leader and you never ask for help, what happens is you struggle for 3 months. Now, guess what? There's 3 or 4 other people on your team struggling for 3 or 4 months. The whole company becomes lethargic because people don't feel the permission or the courage to ask for help.
Yes.
I think that's so vital. And I love the frame of, hey, you're not just doing this. You're not just asking for help to get your necessarily your needs served, but also it's helping other people in some way, whether giving them permission or actually making them feel helpful. I think that's incredible. So, first question.
Yes.
And this is great for you. I could never answer this, which is, basically it's like my husband and I do not agree on child rearing. We don't agree on how to be good parents. What would you recommend?
Yeah, it's so interesting. So we have a 2.5-year-old, and then I am almost 20 weeks pregnant. So halfway done, which is so exciting. And so we have a lot of parenting discussion, and it is a very interesting role reversal with Drew being the stay-at-home parent, and myself being the worker. We actually take courses on parenting, which is so, it's in alignment with GrowthDay. You're never done growing. You don't know what you don't know. And so when we find areas that we were really struggling in, like at the beginning, it was sleep training. And it was like, we're going to sit down and devote a few hours just to understanding this. And then, right now it's like the toddler tantrums. How do we want to handle those? Do we let the meltdowns happen? Do we hug? Do we walk away? Do we do timeouts? Like, we don't know. And so it's super interesting because one, I think that the 21 questions approach can get you a long way in terms of understanding how someone else was brought up, because I think we bring a lot of our own childhood traumas, experiences, and joys into parenthood, and that's how we show up. And so really asking, how were you disciplined? How did your parents show their love? When did you feel most loved? When did you feel like you had to perform? And we talk about all of that stuff very openly. And I think that helps to kind of bridge, we don't want to do it this way, like we were taught. We want to go this direction. And so it is, I think parenting adds this whole other layer. And we were just talking about this with my mom, because when we were little, we asked my mom, we said, who do you love more, dad or us kids? And my mom confidently, no bars asked, said, your dad. And I loved that because, as a kid, you're kind of like, wait, what? That's not the right answer. But I loved that because it showed they're the glue that holds us together. And when we're out of the house, when we're gone, it's them, and they're still together and really happy. And so remember that you're a team as parents, and you're batting for the same team. But I think too that dialogue can really kind of get to the core root of where you're disagreeing and where you can kind of decide to work together and move forward in either the same or a different direction.
I love that. Has your 2-year-old played mom and dad off against each other yet?
She's super witty, but she acts very differently around both of us. And I think that's really interesting too, is if anyone in here has a stay-at-home parent versus a working parent, it's a very different dynamic with each parent. And it's super, it's a juggle because she's with her dad all day. And then it's so exciting to be with mom, but then it's I'm already kind of tired and I'm trying to be present. And it's, it's this really interesting circus act that I feel like I'm constantly a part of, but I think I'm getting really good.
Love that. Love that. This can be your day for personal growth. This can be that day you committed to and you remember and you go, that was the day I got myself a community. I got better coaches. I committed to making my life the absolute best that I could. This is that day. Make today your growth day. Click the button on this page and sign up right now.